You guys are welcome to today's session. I know we have some of our guys in the house. Solomon, Emmanuel, you're welcome again. Solomon, you're welcome. Samson, our speaker for today, you're welcome as
Uh,
well. Yeah, and also I can see in your bong, Johnson, Omalabake, Oladapo. If you can just unmute and just speak so I can be sure you're with us here. You guys are welcome as well. So thank you for joining us again. And if you can't speak, you can drop a chat. Actually, we'll just follow through on the chat session. So we are glad to be back to our study series. We've been having this series run for a very long time, very early this year. And then I would want to say a very big thank you to the organizers. Um, Olajumoke Toriola, she's not on this call, but probably should be joining us before we run through. She's the convener. Then also to the leadership of the Nigerian M365 community, which has Emmanuel, Solomon, and some other people in it. I want to appreciate you guys for the work you've been putting in for all these sessions that you've created for us and every of the technologies we've gone through from the beginning of the year. So very quickly, we are going to be looking at Introduction to Microsoft Teams Part 7. I know we've had other sessions, but this is the seventh part. And like we've been saying in our backstage talk, today's session is going to be very, very engaging one. So we will still be trying to get more people on the call so you can also enjoy as we'll be having Samson take us through Operator Connect and direct routing. We'll be seeing calling policies, call load policies, callback policies, and caller ID policies. We'll also be reviewing the dial plans, emergency policies, mobility policies, voice routing policies, and voicemail policies. And lastly would be the auto attendant, call queues, holiday settings, resource accounts, and voice application policies. So all these are settings that are specific to the Microsoft Teams. And in the next few minutes, Samson will take us away as he talks about this. So housekeeping rules. If you have any questions, you can always drop it in the chat. So I've got some of the leadership would be in the chat. I myself will be in the chat, try to just respond. And then also, if you feel it's something you may need the attention, probably you could raise up your hands. I'm not sure Samson might see your hands raised, but we could also call his attention on the side. But if you have any questions, you're very free, sorry, to raise up your hands and then just bring out your questions. And I think that's the most important. So without wasting so much of our time, we can have Samson take the floor. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
okay, so as part of the introduction, thank you guys for welcoming me. It's a great privilege to be on this platform. I believe I'm audible. So, as part of the introduction, my name is Samson Samuel. I am subject matter expert for Microsoft Teams. Uh, the man with 30 years of experience in Microsoft Teams. Don't be scared. Ask me, how old is Microsoft Teams? So, we are here today to cover some topics about Microsoft Teams. I'm actually glad that I'm saying introduction part 7, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm saying introduction. That's the key part of it, because if I haven't been seeing introduction, I think I will have taken us 9 years for us to cover Microsoft Teams, and you will still keep learning Microsoft Teams. But however, don't be scared. Microsoft Teams are as simple as you can imagine, as simple as your WhatsApp chat, your WhatsApp call, and your MTN and Glow call if you're in Nigeria. So that is me, and we'll be kicking off down through the topics. We have limited time, and we have much topics, but we will see how we can cover them in a bit and see how we can have one or two things rally up together. So let's quickly start with our first topic, which is direct routing and operator connects. So for direct routing and operator connects, they're actually similar, kind of. It's all about on-premises when we come to that aspect. So on that aspect is on-premises. So I think I'm done with introduction. So maybe I can off my camera so that I can be able to share my screen as well. Okay, so for direct routing and operator connect, that is the cloud, the on-premises aspect of Microsoft Teams. I might be a bit fast, but if you need some clarity, please, you can call me back and I'll be glad to, you know, speak back on what I've said earlier. And I talk a bit, like a little bit faster than you can imagine, just to be able to cover up some things within the scope of time. So I have quickly, pum. I have less than 40 minutes, but if time permits, we could actually extend probably like 10 minutes ahead so that we can have much to cover next week. I'm more speculative about auto attendant and call queue because over years of experience, I see more cases coming around that part, and people are scared of going that part, right? But as simple as it is, that is actually my strengths in Microsoft Teams, call queues, and auto attendance. You know, so back to Operator Connect and direct routing. Operator Connect is just like an advanced name of direct routing, you know, being that,
Hi, Samson. If you're sharing your screen, we can see your screen.
yes, sorry, I'm not sharing my screen yet,
Okay.
actually. If I'm sharing my screen, I'll be sharing my screen with practical experience, taking us through the admin portal. For my lab is still coming up as I'm speaking, so I will keep talking while we have everything set.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
Operator Connect and direct routing, we won't have much lab on that topic because it's on premises, and because we don't have environments. Personally, I don't even have an SBC. You know, personally, though I'm working towards one, but I don't have an SBC for now that I can always use. But I work with customers on their environments, and majorly it's all about on-premises, mean that you are bringing your own infrastructure to Microsoft Teams. So Microsoft Teams says you don't need to abandon your already existing core systems. You are free to bring them in to Microsoft Teams. So that is where we have the direct routing aspect for Microsoft Teams. So direct routing, you bring your own system, which is the SBC, your phone numbers, your devices that you have before that you want to use Microsoft Teams, you are fine for bringing it. So you leverage on existing contracts that you have with your PSTN provider. You can bring them to Microsoft Teams. It is also faster and easier to develop. But majorly, what you need to know before you start Microsoft Teams direct routing is you only need to have your user on cloud, which is having your users on Office 365. Once you have them on Office 365, all you need to do is just to give them a Microsoft Teams enable license. It can be an E5, it can be an E3, it can be a business standard license, as long as it's Microsoft Teams enabled license. Note that Teams Premium is not a Microsoft Teams enabled license. Teams Premium is an add-on license for Microsoft Teams. I've seen that over time, people making mistakes for that license. Teams Premium is an advanced and an add-on to give you additional feature for Microsoft Teams. That's a different topic on its own. So people confuse it with saying that it's a Teams enabled license. No. But note, once you have this business standard E1s, E3, or E5, those are Microsoft Teams enabled license. So once you have them, you're already enabled for Microsoft Teams. Then the next license you need is phone system license. So once you also have a phone system license, you are good to go with your SBC as far as Microsoft 365 is concerned. So you are good to go with your SBC. So all you need to do now is to start thinking about your voice routing policy, which are done on your SBC, which are done on your SBC. Vendors can actually handle this for you. If you don't have one, then you should be able to handle this yourself. But most likely, we recommend you use vendor because we've seen cases whereby customers comes to Microsoft support. Note, this is on-premises, so we have less visibility over what you need to do or how you need to do it. So we recommend you go through vendors. So vendors will help you because they will be on site with you and they will help you to see how to be able to configure, to connect this SBC together. So having said or having talked about the licenses, another thing you need to understand is your users must be hosted online and must be Teams only. When I mean online, I'm talking about the hosting provider, which is your hosting provider must not be your hosting provider must not be SIV, so they must be hosted online where you will see the hosting provider attribute is showing zipfred.link.online.com. That is when you will know that yes, this my user is online. And once you assign the phone system license, you are expected or your user is expected to be enterprise voice enabled by default. But sometimes we might have issues with propagation where user might to have known, but quote unquote, somebody out there might need this information. So probably want to share that as well. So if you notice that the user is not enabled for enterprise voice, sure, it can happen even after assigning your phone system license. But you have a solution. And what's the solution? It is either you unassign a license and reassign a license, or you use the PowerShell command. The clear and straightforward one is just use the PowerShell command to enable the enterprise voice. So once you enable the enterprise voice, guess what? You might be good to go, or you can troubleshoot further to see what else is needed to do should in case this is not working. Then the user needs to be on Teams only mode. That is the coexistent mode. So the user needs to be on Teams only mode. This is because of the interruptibility where users trying to communicate with other devices, with other calling clients such as SFB. If you have an SFB, we don't really recommend that. You might be having, I think we've seen issues over time where we recommend that users should be migrated to Teams only mode in their coexistence mode just because of the interruptibility of the user with the calls. Then one thing I would like to show us is also that letting us that calling plan is not needed in this scenario. Yes, calling plan is not needed because you are using direct routing. I will want to share my screen now so I can show us the direct routing portal on Microsoft Teams admin portal. Okay, please let me know when you can see my screen. I guess you should now.
Yes, I can see your screen now.
Okay, so I guess you can see my screen. So let me quickly take us. This is my lab. Now, quick one. It's very simple. Admin.teams.microsoft.com is the way for you to get to the admin portal. But in case you don't want to go through that route, you can just log into your office.com. Then you go to admin. Then you go to show all, and you go to Microsoft Teams. That brings you here. So under voice, we have the columns, the menu drop down here where we have operator connect and direct routing. Now, this is direct routing. Yes. This is where you need to add the SBCs that you have on premises. So once you have your SBC ready from a certified vendor, you can just connect it to the admin portal here. So all you need to do, you can see I have other that I've connected over time for test. And you can see some warning sign here, inactive, inactive, warning, warning, meaning that my SIP option status, I need to check them. Though these two are not working. I mean, these three are not active. So that's why they're in inactive states. You can see no any calls that I've routed through them so far. You can see the warning sign, which is my SIP option. It's already showing warning for me. So how do you add it? Just click on your add, give it your name, your your FQDN, those things that you need to add. This is list of the things you need to go through. Less worry if you have a vendor. Your vendor can do that for you easily. So, but if you don't have a vendor, then you have to worry on how to get this done. Over time, we've seen people coming to support for setting up SBC. That might be a little bit difficult because we will not know the kind of configuration you have on premises. For example, what is your FQDN for your SBC? We might not know except you provide us that. Sometimes we also have some other things, for example, your ports, your firewall, your SIP options, all those things is something you need to configure yourself to see and have it in Microsoft Teams. So this is just a brief an interface of how or where you can configure your SBC. Like I said, this is on premises, so we won't be able to. I don't have an SBC close to me here. Sorry about that. Don't worry, we have other practicals we're going to do. When we go to call queues and auto attendant, we will see everything live. We will configure one from beginning to the end, and we have a text of one from beginning to the end. And you will see we make the call, and the calls will be routed through. I believe I'm audible. Sorry, but if I'm not, please let me know so I can be able to go back. Okay, so that's just the little of the interface. What is FQDN? Yes, we have some FQDN that you can't use. FQDN is the domain that is used to register the SBC. We have some that you can't use. For example, you can't use the on Microsoft.com domain for your FQDN. Yes, you can't use that. So you have to have, and we can't use subdomains as well. So you have to have a fully qualified domain for your SBC. Those are part of the requirements as well. And okay, for the Operator Connect, let me just show us once. So this is the Operator Connect option here. Operator Connect is just an advanced name. Let me use the word name, advanced name over the routing. Normally, direct routing, you own your SBC. You run through the whole thing yourself. You went through the whole numbers, issues, problems. But with Operator Connect, we already have companies. We already have organization, ready-made vendors that you can use, that you don't have to worry much on SBC. You don't have to worry much on some things. For example, certificates that you need for SBC. You don't have to worry much about those things because the Operator Connect people will handle that themselves. So they are ready-made agency that handle calls for you instead of you bringing your own infrastructure as well. Though if you have an SBC, you can actually give it to them. I don't know. It depends on the Operator Connect company. So this is just a way of saying, okay, you don't want Microsoft to handle your call. You want to have a taste of other people. For example, you want to have a taste of Glow. You want to have a taste of Tata. You want to have a taste of MTN. You don't want to use Microsoft. Let me use my name now. You don't want to use my services, which is Samson Samuel. So you don't want to use my services. Rather, you want to use the other services, right? So that is why Microsoft give you options in you enjoying the core services in Microsoft Teams. So far, any question before I proceed? Okay, I believe there's no question. So I will stop sharing my screen for a while we proceed on the same information, which is now Operator Connect. Going back to direct routing. So in direct routing, we talk about some things also that you need to plan for direct routing. The other time I was talking about the FQDNs. which I mentioned, we have other FQDNs that you can't use. And we could also talk about the ones you can use. The one you can use have to be, for example, sbc1.contoso.com. Yeah, that one is valid. sbc15.contoso.com, or you can call it europe.contoso.com. That one is valid. But when you are using anything that has to do with on Microsoft, this domain is not supported. Or probably you are using something like you want to use something like sbc.shola.congo.com. Something like this as well is not supported. So these are some things that you need to take note of. Then you need to have your trusted certificate for SBC. Those ones are majorly handled by the vendor, where they will, get certificates for you. Sometimes we've seen issue over time that calls are failing, and the cause is just because the certificates are not up to date. So it's something you also need to be checking time to time that these things are up to date. Then another thing we will talk about is your firewalls. There are some list of IPs that need to be allowed, some URLs and IPs addresses that need to be allowed for Microsoft Teams to work. So these are the IP addresses and URLs that Microsoft Teams are using for some services. So this has to be allowed as well, depending on what you want to use. I would just like to ask a quick question. Between TCP and UDP transport protocol, which one does Microsoft Teams use for call, for voice? Can anyone please answer that? Between TCP and UDP, which one does Microsoft Teams use mostly for call? I hope I'm not speaking to myself. Hello, guys. Hello, people. Don't be scared. You might got it correctly and you might not, but we are here to,
Am I free to speak?
Okay, I can hear you now. Please go ahead, Solo. Mon.
Yeah, so basically, when we are talking of protocols, we have UDP and TCP. TCP is stable, but when we are having like calls or video games and stuff like that, it is UDP. I don't know, but I think Microsoft Teams should be using UDP, because once it has to do with all this streaming, where you just need to send your packet, right? I think it should be UDP, but generally TCP is more stable and reliable.
Thank you, Solomon. Thank you for that contribution. Any other person? Note, no knowledge is a waste, As little contribution you could, share, you might think you know it, but however, somebody might be able to explain better for you. Solomon just explain something now in a different way. I actually understand it, so same thing can happen to you. But when we come together as like minds and we're able to share this together, we have everything in control. Okay, so let me just bank on what Solomon have said. Yes, Microsoft Teams use actually both, and Solomon is correct. Microsoft Teams uses both, but the most used is UDP because in the calls and meetings we use UDP mostly, and TCP is used. TCP is used as a fallback, a failover, in case there is any drop from the UDP. Then you have to fall back to TCP. So that is done within seconds, in the background. So things that happens in the background for Microsoft Teams. But UDP is used mostly because we need to be sending the traffic flow so that there will not be any drop. But TCP can easily drop packets, but UDP it keep going the way it comes, like it keep going. But if there is any issue, maybe a drop, then we quickly fall back to TCP and go back to UDP. That's how the transport control works with Microsoft Teams so far from experience. Okay, so other things to say about direct routing. We could also talk about, I've talked about the firewalls, the IPs. Okay, I've talked about the licenses. I've talked about the domains. And yes, I've mentioned about the user registrar, which is the hosting provider. Like I said, the hosting provider must be zipfed.online.link.com. How do you check these hosting providers? It's very simple. Just get your PowerShell, which is the GetCS online user space -identity, which is the affected user. From there, you can see all these attributes of the user. If you like, you can put a pipe FL, that's fine. But without or with, to still give you the list of major attributes for Microsoft, for the user, where you will see details about Microsoft Teams. Anything you see here, majorly are things used by Microsoft Teams, right? So you will see the hosting provider there, plainly is there. And another thing you can check is the interpreted user type. You can always ensure that maybe, right, just to have everything under control, all you need to, the major one used is pure online user as the interpreted user type. We have other ones, but that just to have things under control, to be sure that, okay, my user are hosted on premises. I mean, my user are purely cloud. You will see the pure online. If they are hosted on premises, you will see, when I mean on premises, I'm talking about hosted on AD on premise. So AD on premises is different from Skype for Business on premises, right? So the Skype for Business on premises is the one you will see SRV. But if you are seeing SRV as the hosting provider, please just know that you have issues. So best at stage, there's PowerShell to change these commands as simple as, you're running one line PowerShell that can change it for you, for users. What else? We've talked about our SBCs. So majorly, these are the things, and these are the major things you need to know when you're configuring SBC. Majorly, that's the things you need to know. So once you have these things in control, note at some point, if you are in the support space, if you are in Microsoft support space, at some point, all you need to know is have idea. I've seen cases people will see verbatim, though I was once in that shoe, that I will see long verbatim of customer, from there, I will start having heartbeats. Sometimes I will even almost have heart attack because of the verbatim. But an incident happened. What was this incident that happened that changed my orientation about this? That very day, this fateful day, I just saw this long verbatim, almost love letter. So immediately I saw it, I was scared. I was like, I am finished. What's going on here today? This is where I will finish my 8 hours today. But guess what? I just took that boldness to call this customer. Probing question. Like I only probed this customer, asking him one question. And what was the question I asked this customer? What is the voice routing assigned to this user? Guess what? You might not know what the voice routing is at that time, but because you've already went through the requirements that is needed for an SBC, asking this customer that what is the voice routing assigned to this user? Next thing the customer say, oh, voice routing. Oh, that's true. Okay, let me check the voice routing. The way they speak the accent. I might not have the accent. So immediately the customer went and checked the voice routing. The customer says it's online. Then one spirit from somewhere just told me that no, it's not supposed to be online. The SBC is on premises, so the voice routing should be on premises. Then I told the customer that you mentioned online. He said yes. I said, oh, I don't think that should be right. He said, yeah, you are right. Sam, hold on. The only thing I did was just to hold on the call Next thing, the customer went ahead to run the PowerShell and change the voice routing policy. And guess what? Next call, immediately, we don't even need to refresh anything. Immediately, the customer placed a call and the call went through. And what happened is a win-win, right? And I must be the winner. So next thing is I went there, guy, give me my 5-star, and then we move on, right? So that's the end of the story. When you have the 5-star, you move on to the next customer. But guess what? It was interesting to me that I only have to probe this customer despite the love letter. Despite the love letter. So once you know what is needed, my brother, it's as simple as you opening a Microsoft document to go through it before you call that customer. At least you already know is an issue with that routing. So from the verbatim, okay, this is the routing. Okay, let me at least go and know what is needed about the routing. What do I need to know in the routing? For the past 4 years, for the past 2 years of experience, I've never seen the routing with my eye. I mean, SBC and SBC with my eye before. For those of us in the support space who understand what I'm saying, right? I did not see direct routing like with my eye like this. So all I used to do is to hear about direct routing, not until recent, having to be an SME, I was opportunity to have my eyes on one. So I'm just trying to, give us some kind of boldness to say that these things are as easy as you understanding the basics. So once you understand the basics, just have that confidence. Even at times you might not have the question the customer is asking, but let that be your weakness, and dish the customer your strengths. And what could be that your strengths? The things you know. The one you don't know, just tell the customer, okay, no problem, I will check that for you, and let's see how we go about it. But the ones you know, at least let him have confidence that I'm speaking with a technical person. Customer is telling you that he has direct routing issue, and you're asking him calling plan issue, or you're asking him meeting issues, meeting question. How can that? The customer will lose confidence in you because he felt this person is going south from what he's asking or from what I'm asking. So quickly, let me quickly rush back to Operator Connect. So that's the little I could say now regarding direct routing. We have other things like media bypass. We have location-based routing. We have local media optimization. All those one are long process. So you have to do that from the SBC side. Sorry, I'm using that slang. That is a long process. Yes, but once you understand that these things are needed, the basis is just your SIP option. The basis is just your dial plan. Is it the country dial plan or the tenant dial plan? All those things are things you need to put in place. Then going back to Operator Connect. In Operator Connect, you don't really have to do much. Why? Because a company now took that bold step for you. The licenses, a company have took that bold step for you to be able to handle the major things for you. For example, all those location-based routing, the company has handled it for you. For example, some FQDN, a company is there to do that for you. Your SBCs, a company is there to do that to do that for you. So that gives you some kind of less headache. But for licensing, you need the same license as direct routing. All you need is just a Teams enable license and a Microsoft Teams phone system. So that's just the two license, basic two license you need for direct routing. Any other thing, you are using an extra feature for yourself. So I believe I've covered that regarding direct routing and Operator Connect. Any question before I move to the next topic? Hello, question. Okay, Frank, I want to say something.
Hello.
Hi, Franca.
Okay. Yeah, I dropped the question actually. I'm not able to share my screen at times, and even when I go out and come, I know this is not related to you're talking about voice today, but I just said to ask this question. Yeah.
Hey, Franca. Hey,
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Even when I leave the meeting and come back, I'm still not able to share my screen at times, and it just goes off. And also, I'm not able to see the person presenting the screen. So what
Okay,
do I do?
Franca.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I won't want to bug. I won't want to bug my audience with this, but I'll be glad if you can ping me and to get what you've isolated, and let's see how we can have this together. This is like you already know that this is a different topic from what
Yeah.
we are treating today. But I'll be ready to attend to you if you can ping me. My name is Samson Samuel, and I will give you that audience to see how we can go around that. It's might be as simple as a catch issue. So that's just by the way. So
So where can I reach you on LinkedIn or where? What?
yeah, you can reach me
Yeah.
on LinkedIn. That's fine. Just
Okay.
message me. Yep.
Something Samuel, yeah?
Samuel. Correct.
Okay. All right, thanks.
You're welcome. Okay. Any other question on SBC and Operator Connect? Now, majorly, something just struck my head regarding SBC and Operator Connect. Note, you will not see the numbers on admin portal if you are using a direct routing. You will not see the customers' numbers on admin portal. So if you are assigning the number, the customer will need to provide you the number themselves. Yes, that's we see a lot looking for. Any other question? Close to that point. Okay, so I guess there are no questions. So we move to the next topic. Can anyone tell me what's the next topic? Let me be sure we are following. What's the next topic? My people are sleeping. Okay. A customer will wake you. So actually, the next topic is calling policy, call holding policy, call pack policy, call ID policy. So this is all about policy, 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 policy. Okay, so let's move to admin portal. I'll be sharing my screen where I take us through all the policies in the admin portal regarding calling precisely. So let me know when you can see my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen, guys. Okay, I believe my screen should be out there now. Okay, so great that we have all the policies under voice. So which means that the major policies, anything you're looking for, as long as it's core policies, you find them under voice. I like this isolation actually. So you can see the way the things have been isolated to be more user-friendly. So this makes it more readable and easy access for all our users out there. So this is where you can see okay, I mentioned something about phone numbers. Yeah, this is the phone numbers blade. So on this particular location, you will not be able to see those numbers. If it is, you can see I'm having some numbers here. I'm having a little much numbers here. So if it's direct routing, you won't see those numbers here. So don't be looking for a number or anything. You won't find them here. So rather, the customer will have to provide that for you. Talking about calling policy, here we have the policies for calls. How you can customize a policy yourself. You can, try to deal with the global policy or use or already customized policy here. But if you don't like this, you can decide You can decide to have your own policy yourself by adding one. Well, guess what? We don't need to add anyone today. Let's just click on this, the global policy, which is the org wide. So the org wide means that any user being created is assigned this policy automatically. Right. So if you create a new user, these new users get this global policy automatically. So if you need to customize the policy, then you can just cancel this, go to user, click here, manage users, then go to any user. So for example, let me click on this user here, then you can assign a custom policy to user from this policies item here, where you can see now for this app setup, this user has test custom policy. All right. So, but by default, you have the org wide. You can see some other ones are org wide. So that's much about how to customize the policy for a user. But quickly going to the calling policy, going back to the calling policy, we have so many policy here. You can decide to disable calls for your user. Maybe you don't want them to have the ability to use private call. Yes, you can decide to disable that for them by toggling off this, or having it on back. So you can also decide to configure your cloud recording. If you want the user to be able to record their calls, you can decide that here. We have transcription here. You can decide if you want a transcription, probably where the customer is saying something on call and you are reading it in text for better understanding. For maybe if the accent is too thick like my own, you can easily understand that from the transcription, where you will see it's there. So depending on the language, you can customize that as well. We have voice routing policy. So we have routing for PSTN calls. We already have a default settings. You can customize as you want to. We have use default, use unanswered settings. We have send to voicemail. We have let's user decide. So any policy you make here, there's some policy that can be made from the user end, while there's some policy that is only made from the admin portal. So there's some policy that what you define here is what the user will see from their end. For example, the voicemail policy, the other policy as well, where is only what you define here that the users will see. So 20 minutes more. So we still have more 1 hour to go. So we have voice routing policy. We have the routing for federation. We have this. We have call forwarding and simulation. That means simultaneous ringing. So we have this as well. I can show us a bit of this from the Teams client. Let me quickly show us that. Sorry, I'll be moving in between. Oh, unfortunately. Okay. Unfortunately, I don't have a diet plan. I think my license. Yeah. Okay, that's by the way. I want to show us something before, but sorry, I might show us in our next class next week. So we have the call forwarding and simultaneous ringing for external phone numbers. We have voice mail for inbound. You can decide to have your voicemail here. We have inbound. These are the policy you just need to go through depending on what your customer wants or what is happening. These are the policy. You can just go through one after the other and check them. We have delegates. You can delegate call. If you don't want the users to be able to delegate their calls, you can disable this. We have music on hold. Yes, I'll be talking about the major ones. This music on hold, for example, now you can decide to disable and enable it. For example, now you call me and I told you that, oh, please hold on, I quickly want to do something, or a call. I have a call that is coming in. I quickly want to pick it. Can you please give me 5 minutes to hold on? Yeah, this is the settings. You can decide to have a music. For example, you can decide to start singing any mobile song, or you can decide to start singing any song that you want to sing if you have the music on hold. So it depends on the song that you want to do. So we have busy on busy. busy on busy is as simple as I'm in this meeting now, and if I have busy on busy turned off, so I'm in this meeting now. A call can just be showing here, like the toast notification for call can just come in, and you will see the toast notification for that call. So with this, you can easily get distracted. With this, you can easily get distracted, whereby the customer will be distracted and will be like, oh, a call has come in. What do I do? Or how do I go about it? Or probably you can decide to pick that call, depending on priority. You know, some calls, maybe your VP is calling you, you're in a company and you're in a meeting. So which one do you want to prioritize? Is it the VP call or the meeting? So you can be able to see the toast notification here and decide to pick the call or not. But if this busy on busy is turned on, it means that no calls can come in. So if you are, as I'm in this meeting, and no calls can, I know nobody can distract me, nothing can disturb me, no notification, even ordinary message notification, I will not have all those information because I've already turned on busy for calls. So nothing can come in regarding any calls from any user or any number or any meeting will not pop up for me. Okay, so next thing we have the web PSTN call. That one is fine. Reads the option, automatic answer call, in meeting invites, spam filtering, C calls, and these are little more that we have in calling policy. This is what we have in calling policy. So before I move to call hold policy, any question regarding calling policy? Over time, you might have had issue that you felt you would need to clarify on calling policy. Please ask question now. I'm giving out the audience. So any question on calling policy? Okay, no question, right? Okay, fine. So let me quickly say something about make private call. So I've seen a case whereby a customer disabled chat for user and customer enabled this. So now the customer is saying that, oh, we are unable to add users to calls. Maybe they make one-on-one call and now they are unable to add another participant to the call. For example, if I'm on call with Emmanuel, and I try to, if I'm on call with Emmanuel, one-on-one call with Emmanuel, and I tried to go back to speak with Joseph, but at this time I don't want to end the call with Emmanuel. But at this time I felt I don't want to end the call with Emmanuel, so I can just decide that, okay, instead of ending the call with Emmanuel, let me just invite Joseph to our call. Let me just invite Joseph to our call. So you can just decide to say, okay, I don't want to lose Emmanuel. Okay, probably there's something we need to discuss internally together and have 3 of us on call. So, we can have a conference call instead of having meeting or creating a meeting link, right? So in this case, you will not be able to invite Emmanuel. I mean, you'll not be able to invite Joseph to Emmanuel's call because you've already disabled chat. So normally, if you're already making a group call, so it's expected to, or by default, is expected to initiate a chat automatically for you for the three of us. But because I've already disabled chat, you will notice that the calls will keep dropping. Yeah, I'm saying this because I've seen this over time, and users keep coming and saying, but we already have make private call on enable, and we already have make group calls enable. Yes, this is by design, so you just have to enable chat for the users, and once you do that, that works automatically. Okay, so any other thing? In that case, we move to the next policy. So we have this policy here. We call it call hold policy. So this is where you have the call hold policy, where you can decide to, demole. You can decide to upload the music you want to upload. You want them to be singing any song for you. You can decide to upload the music you want it to be uploaded for you here. So that depends on what music you want to sing. Is it Christian music you want to sing? Is it the local music you want to sing? Is it Yoruba music? Is it Hausa music? You can decide to upload it here. So anything you upload here, note, yes, in here, that's interesting. Note that there's an accepted format and there's a limit to what can be uploaded. There's an accepted format and a limit to what can be uploaded. So if you have other formats, you might be having issues with this that you're not able to upload. So if you have other formats, might be having issues with it that you will not be able to upload. I've seen that before. I think you were just adamant of reading what you have on the admin portal. Next thing you were just uploading, and that did not work. Until when we have to check what's the file you're uploading, what's the size of the file you are uploading. We noticed that the size was more than said number. That is common even most on call queues and auto attendance voice or text speech. So that is very much common where you will see customer making this mistake because they didn't read what is there. So that is a little about call holding policy. Then call pack. This call pack, there's nothing much here as well. So this is just little we have here. The range, how many calls, timeouts, and the likes that you want to pack at the same time. So we have the call ID policy. Yeah, I think I can say much about this as well. When I mean much, I'm talking about we having to use this over time. There are some of the policy that is not really what you use often, but these are the things, these ones you will see it, customer needs it often. So we have the block incoming call ID. You can decide to turn it on or you turn it off. By default, all these policies are off. But now if you want to customize, blocking incoming call ID, if Shola is calling you, you want to block that ID, you can decide to block it from here. Now we have override call ID policy. You can decide to if this is turned on, users can override the call ID policy on their end. You can decide to use your own ID instead of using the caller ID. We have this call party name. This calling party name, it's let's assume my company is sambest at yahoo.com. That's my company. Or so you can decide to customize your calls going out. You've seen over time that you will see a call coming in and you will see MTN, or you will see a call coming and you will see Microsoft. In short, Microsoft is very popular. If even Microsoft customer is calling you, you see it that this call is coming from Microsoft, and you'll be able to know that this is without you saving the contact. Yes, thank you. Without you saving the contact, you can see this name, because it's already customized by the call provider. So note that these things can be override from the calling provider if you are using a direct routing. So, but for calling plan, you always have it here. So you can always replace it as well. So you can decide to replace this caller ID with your number or anonymous, or try to replace it with like another number. For example, now your company might have an 800 number, which is a popular number, but each time you're calling out, you don't want user to have your private number, to have your DID. We call it DID. So you don't want your user to have your DID. So because you don't want the users to have the person you're calling to know your DID, but you want them that each time they want to call back, they should just call the company instead of calling you directly. So you can decide to choose this, which is resource accounts. So this resource account is actually is a bot. Let me use the word bot that runs the activities of call queues and auto attendance. So a number is already assigned to this resource account. So once the number is already assigned to the resource account, that is the number that will be displayed to the customers, to the other person's end, right? So which is the person you are calling, that is the number that will be displayed to the person. So once this person says this number, the person might assume that is your number and the person is calling back. So instead of the call coming to you, the call will go to this call queue or auto attendants where they can speak with anybody in the company, and there are later requests for you, and the person can forward to you as well. Don't worry, we'll discuss about that when we go to call queues and auto attendants. Die plan. My diagram brothers. Okay, so this is die plan. Die plan is just as simple as, you trying to configure some set of numbers that a users can call. Instead of completing the number, you want to just die. Okay, for example, now you need to die +234. Then if you are calling a Nigerian number from outside, you need to die +234 before you can die any Nigerian number as well. So you can just decide to create a die plan where you don't need to create, you don't need to die. I mean, you don't need to add the +234 to the number anytime you are dialing. So you dialing the number, automatically once you do the die process, it will add the numbers for you, the prefix for you automatically. So the prefix is always something before something. So it will add that for you automatically. So let's just try something briefly. I don't have a comment. Okay, we can test it here. So let's try something for us briefly. Let's assume plus 34. Then I enter a phone number to test. So let me just assume 080 80528899255. It's just a test so that somebody will not be calling me. I'm just joking. You can call me actually. So now let's make a test. Okay, so he's saying that it's not for E11. So we have a format that you can actually use. We have a format that you can actually always use. Cannot be translated, but we have a calling plan. Is that why? Why? Okay, we will test this next week when we are doing call plan. Please remind me. If anyone can remind me, we will test that when we are doing, when I have a calling plan to do our auto attendant and call queue. So this is for emergency calling policy, as straightforward as it can be. Once you have your 911 number or 121, is it 112, you can decide to configure your emergency die route notification. So where you can just easily die these calls and it goes to the emergency people. So depending on how you configure it here. So that's for this. Which other policy? Voice routing policy. Automatically you have the global one if you're using a calling plan, but you can decide to choose a calling policy as you want. If this is actually mostly needed if you are using the operator connect or you are using direct routing. So majorly you can think to use the voice routing policy as configured by your on-premises person on the SBC. You can just input the routing policies here and you will see them. So let me just quickly glance through the next topic. That plan emergency. Okay, I think I'm already going to the last one. So we have voicemail policy. Here is where you can also decide to choose your voicemail policy based on how you want your policy to go. So in this voicemail policy, you can customize, you can undo, you can redo, you can, do. You can create the length. You can decide to chop the customer money as long as you want, by using the length at which you want the calls, the voicemail to go. You can decide to do that. Some people don't like voicemail. People like we or me in Nigeria, I don't like voicemail. I prefer you call me or you chat me up. So, but in a place whereby voicemail is needed, probably your company wants to use the voicemail policy, you can just decide to have the policies from here. You can also upload what needs to be heard before for example, now, please leave a voicemail. So you can decide to say, oh, hello, you are calling Microsoft, but at these hours, we are out of office. So you can just decide to call us when we are back to office. Or probably you can just decide to put something like, hello, this is Franca. If you are interested in hanging out with me, just leave a voicemail. I'm just trying to play around with the voice notes actually. So you can decide to play around with the voice notes as you want on what is needed for your company. Note there is a format for this. There is a limit to size of what you can upload, but you can always compress as much as you want to compress and have these sizes reach, or you can also try to convert to any of these formats depending on where your music is coming from. So you can also decide to say, let it disconnect the call. You can also decide to insist. You can also decide to insist that this is done in different languages, depending on how you want or what country you are. These are languages that can be used. These are languages that can be used that you can always leverage on. So I would like to stop here and give audience for question if we have any questions. So guys, any question?
Please, guys, if you have any question, there's a good time to ask your question. So if you can drop it in the chat, I think there's a question in the chat. Let me read out for you, Samson. Somebody was asking, like, is it possible for us to just type the words we want instead of uploading, uploading in the calling policy? I think this was talking about when you're talking about the call holding to upload an MP4 files or something. Is it possible to just type in what you want instead of just uploading like a music?
You have to put the music for call holding. We don't have under the policy, we don't have the option to type. We immediately have options in the call queues and auto attendant. You have options to type, but you have to upload the voice here, the policies.
I hope that answers your question, Latinji.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. What did you say?
So you have to upload on the policy. I can still show us the policy again. So this is what we have available in the policy. So you have to upload.
Sorry, I cannot see your screen. So
can you see my screen now?
Not yet.
I think you have to rejoin the meeting.
Okay, let me rejoin.
Other people can see my screen, right?
Yes, I can.
Okay, yes, I can see your screen.
So you can see that we only have the option to upload without the option to type. So where you can type is just the name of the policy if you are creating a custom one, and description of what the policy is all about, so in case you don't forget what the policy was.
Okay, so you can only upload. You can't type if you can't type what you want. Probably let's say you're calling my company right now, and I don't want to play music. Do you understand? I just want you to. I just want the AI to say, "Oh, thank you for calling this company. Welcome to this. I don't want to upload any audio file at all. So it's not possible for me to be able to type what I want."
Apparently, with the proof of evidence, this is by design.
Okay.
You can see here, we have to upload.
Okay.
All right. Sorry, sir.
You're welcome.
We'll be glad to hear your feedback. You know, as Microsoft Teams is one of the innovative applications in Microsoft Teams, we'll be glad to hear your feedback and implement it as soon as possible.
Is there a roadmap to any of this?
For now, I would not have anyone.
Okay, because I think I used to know much about Teams before now, so that's the reason why I was asking if there is a roadmap to this.
For now, I personally have not, have my eyes on any of the roadmap that says about this. Though we will have plenty things on the roadmap, but I have not come across any that talks about this.
All right.
And then that question, I was expecting to have more question, but maybe in our next class, because I know call queue and auto attendant are always a catching. Hi, Tunji.
Hi, Samson.
Do you have more question?
No, since we have Koki and auto attendant next week, I think we should just focus on that. And like you said, we're going to be looking at the resource account. Without the resource account, we can't create Koki or auto attendant. So I'll wait till next week. God keep us.
So without resource account, you can't create a call queue. No, you can create actually, but it's not work.
Because there's no number to be assigned to it. Yeah, I understand. I have little or no knowledge about Teams. I think I am familiar with that.
Good. I would love to have you in my next class.
You know me very well, Samson. Don't worry. I'll join you in class.
Olatunji, am I guessing? Daoud. Okay. Okay.
All right, sir.
No problem.
Yes, sir.
My brother from Tech. Okay. Any other question, guys?
In the chat, I left a link for feedback. So in case Tunji, if you're interested to drop feedback from Microsoft for this particular feature.
Okay, please, you can. I think I can follow up with that. That would be great.
Okay, so I think there's no more questions. So guys, it's a great time here, and nice audience. But please invite your friend, invite others, invite family in our next class, where we see how call queues and auto attendance works.
All right. Thank you so much, Samson. Thanks everyone for joining the session today. I'm sure we've been able to gather as much knowledge as we can. We also want to apologize for shooting about the time, probably because we didn't start early, and then we just wanted to be sure that we can get to a very nice spot before we broke the class. So thank you guys for joining. And as Samson has said, we'll pick it up again from here next week, same time, 4 p.m. Please let's try to be on time so that we can be able to utilize the 1 hour that we've scheduled for this course. So thank you guys. Thank you so much. And have a very nice day, the rest of your day.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.